Through a Python. Okay. Hello internet world. So yeah, I just want to do like a little reflection on Siona Savigny. Apparently that's the Latin or Greek name, the technical name for Pacific Transparent Sea Squirt. But it sounds like somebody's cool name, Siona Savigny. I wanna name one of my characters that. Anyway, oh my god, what the hell is going on outside? Wait, let me look at this real quick. Holy shit, the sky looks so crazy out there. You wanna see? I don't know if it will show up on, nah, you can't really see. The clouds are like all wild. I'm gonna take a picture real quick, one sec. Even my camera can't really capture how weird it looks. It looks really odd. But anyways, because the clouds are like really low and they're just like pew, 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 and everything's yellow out there. I'm like, please don't let it be another nuclear winter day on Christmas. Come on. Somebody would set a fucking fire on Christmas. Anyways, just to fuck with us, you know. But what was I talking about? Oh yeah. So, I don't know. I don't think that story is very good. I like the Joshie and Dawson save a female one better. But I don't know. I mean, like, I was probably pretty high when I wrote the whole thing, but I remember having fun writing it. And it's just weird because it's like, at the same time, I kind of like it because it's bad. Like, like, okay, I used to watch Night Gallery and I still, like, okay, just in general, I kind of prefer Night Gallery to Twilight Zone, even though everybody knows Twilight Zone is technically better. But I like Night Gallery because it's technically worse, because it's weirder, and it takes more risks, and sometimes things just straight up don't even make sense. Like, when I was watching that show as a kid, sometimes I would watch an episode and be like, I didn't understand that one at all. Like, I mean, I understand the basic what's going on, but it's like, it's just so weird, and I kind of liked it for that reason. Like, my favorite ones were always the ones where I'm like, what is this story trying to tell me? I think that's why I like it, because when something's well written, and, you know, by technical standards, and it fits all the, you know, check marks of a good story, and, you know, it hits everything people expect, then people will say, this is very good, you know? And it is, but it's just because everything wraps up and it's very clean and it all makes sense and it's very smart and it, you know, gives you a good message but not shoves it in your face. Like, it's just enough of this, just enough of that, and kind of just hits it just right, you know? But it's very predictable at the same time. It's just kind of like, you get it, it was good, you know it, and that's it. And I always like the kind of shitty stuff, or at least stuff people say is shitty, because I feel like it makes me think. It makes me think, like, what is this story actually trying to say? Like, what is the message? What's going on here? And, like, what's going on? Because it's like, okay, this whole thing of, like, you know, oh, you live your life for a purpose, and once your purpose is completed, you can die, and it's just like, okay, I don't believe that in real life, you know? I believe life should be lived to the fullest, and that, like, once you complete a goal, you move on to your next goal, you know? You don't just fucking kill yourself, you know? But it's, you know, that's the thing, is like, so many stories are obsessed with being pertinent to us in our modern day and what we believe and how we feel, and just like, oh, messages for real life and stuff. But like, who's to say every story has to be that? You know what I mean? Like, I think this story, I mean, I don't remember it well, but I remember that basically the reason I wanted to write it was mostly just because my dad was reading Parsifal for school, or not at the time, but he did already, and I can't remember, somehow it came up, and then I realized that basically Kyle Reese story in The Terminator is the same as Percival's dad, but just a modern version. Like a modern sci-fi version instead of like an old medieval one, you know? And they're basically the same in one, you know? They're a character in a story that their purpose, not as a real human being in real life that can live a full life, but as a character in a story that is, their job is to have or provide the you know the seed of a child, and then that's it, then they're done, you know. And just like I don't know, like it's just kind of interesting to, I don't know, get into that headspace, I guess, of that. Like, I would never get into that headspace in real life because I want to live, obviously. I don't want to just do one thing with my life and then die. You know, I want to live as long as I can and do as many things as I can, but just put yourself in the headspace of that character. And, you know, Gamurret talking about, oh, it's okay, I'm gonna go to the afterlife, and I'm gonna be with all my warrior friends, and, like, you know, this whole beliefs that, like, most of us, and, I mean, I can't say most of us, a lot of people do believe in an afterlife, but a lot of people also don't, you know? And so it's not, like, for a lot of people, that's not relatable, you know what I mean? It's just trying to get into that character's head, just kind of, basically just character exploration of, like, I don't know, like, to just explore a world that's not ours, you know? And, yeah. But anyways, yeah, I like the part with Jeannie. How she comes out of the lamp in the hotel room and all that stuff, and then how she makes, I just love it how, like, you know, Kyle and the deaf Sarah, they think that they're, like, actually falling in love with for real, like, out of nowhere, too. She just shows up, and she's just like, oh, you're injured, like, let me put my ribbon on you, or whatever. But then, behind the scenes, like, they never even know it, but we as the audience know that, like, through dramatic irony or whatever, that the only reason they fell in love was because Jeannie was manipulating them, too. You know what I mean? So I thought that was kind of funny. I mean, it's kind of an indulgent story, especially at the end, with the whole, like, I'm an 80s action star. That's what I like, you know? But, I don't know. It was, like, yeah, that's what I said, like, it's not a great story, but at the same time, it's something different, you know what I mean? It's not your same old, like, this is a well-written, put-together story with a moral, it's all clean and everything. Like, it's definitely not that. But I don't think it's total crap either, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I like things that are a little different. I guess kind of had no point to it, but I don't know, are all these stories supposed to have a point? Or is it just kind of like, oh, that's the other thing I was gonna say. I knew there was one thing wanted to say more, that's why I was stalling a little bit. Okay, so the whole part with Gamurret giving his little speech, his little sermon about, like, this is why I'm okay with dying and everything like that. Like, I thought that was really bad writing, because I personally hate those scenes where somebody has something to say, and they're basically just giving an explanatory speech. And then, like, but they pause here and there, and then the other person's like, but why? But what? And, you know, it's just like they're kind of like nodding the other person along, like they're just kind of like, it's like, yes, and now, prompt me to go on, and then they're like, oh, prompt, you know, it's just kind of like this hokey, like, back and forth, like, you know, I don't know, like, I don't like that kind of writing, but I did it. And there's a couple things like that, like in the zombie story I wrote, there's, like, even though I'm proud of it because I finished basically a novel-length story, you know, like, or at least a novella, like, there's just some parts in it that I look back on and I, like, can't stand. Like, the one that always comes to mind is, like, this part where this one character is, like, trying to shoot another guy, and then the kid is, like, I can't believe you missed. But he only says that so that the guy can come around the corner and be like, I never miss. Because he actually hit him. But it's just like, it's just so hokey. Like, it's just, you know, like in school they tell you, like, show don't tell. I mean, I think it's okay to tell sometimes. But that's just an example of why they tell you to show not tell. Because a lot of times it ends up like that. And it's kind of like shitty, you know? It's not a good telling. It's a bad telling. But it's like, you know, at the same time, at the time, I didn't have any other ideas, I guess, of how to do it. And it's like, that's the thing. This is the thing I wanted to say. So, when you're writing, you know, how you start off writing. You start off writing because, say you start off writing like I did as a kid, right? Like a lot of writers do, start off as kids. And why do you do any hobby? Why do you start drawing as a kid? Why do you start playing an instrument? Or why do you start playing sports? Anything that's going to be your passion later on, you know. Why do you start doing it? Because it makes you feel good and you have a connection to that activity. And you don't do it to impress anyone. You don't do it... I mean, I'm not talking about the people who are forced into it by their parents, like, you have to play violin or whatever. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the kids that choose it on their own and they stick with it on their own because it feels good and it feels like it takes you to that place that you're just like, I want to do this more than anything else. Like, when I was a kid, every single day in school, I have a paper in front of me, so I just couldn't be kept away from drawing and writing, you know, especially drawing when I was younger, you know, and stuff. I just couldn't be kept away from it. It felt so good to just make those shapes on the page, and it's just like, I couldn't not do it, you know what I mean? And now as an adult, it's like, you know, I feel like, you know, I've lost that, and a lot of people do, you know, because when you get older, it's like, you know, I feel like you reach this... You start off doing your project, it feels really good to do it, but you're not great at it yet, so you have to work at it. You have to continue, like, honing your craft, and then you get more and more skilled. Like, as you go on, you get better and better at it, and, like, you hone your style and your technique and everything. And then, but eventually, then you reach a point where each step to get better is harder and harder, and then you can reach a point where you don't really enjoy it as much as you did because you're too caught up in, well, I gotta make it look exactly right, I gotta make it look perfect, people are expecting this from me and that, and I'm expecting it from myself, you know, like, I want to get a certain quality and everything. And I feel that with writing now, because now I've transitioned to being more of a writer. I feel it with, like, I want to write a story, I sit down and I write, and it's like, I can write scene after scene after scene of just basically just pictures with words, pictures in words, you know, just like, there was this kind of setting, and there was people doing this and that. There's not really a story in it, you know, it's just kind of just like a painting, but I can't think of a story in it. It's because I'm always just like, well, that's not good enough, this isn't good enough, that's stupid, that's dumb, that's bad writing, and, you know, all this stuff, and every single one of those expectations is like a blocker, blocking you from, like, finishing your project, or sometimes even getting started. So, sometimes I appreciate bad writing because it's just like, it's kind of like Ed Wood, you know, like, people say, like, oh, he was so bad, and, like, he's famous for being, like, bad at, like, his filmmaking, but he churned them out, you know, like, he turned them out, like, and he turned them out fast. It's, like, a whole different, like, outlook, where it's like, I just want to get it done. You know, and that's why I appreciate it. And a lot of other people, obviously, well, in the case of Ed Wood, a lot of other people appreciate what he did, and I think a lot of people appreciate that outlook in general, where it's like, you know what, don't worry about getting caught up in, like, trying to make it the best thing ever. Your thing ain't gonna be the best thing ever, and if it was the best thing ever, it would happen, like, it would happen cosmically. Like, you have no control over that, you know? Like, you just have to do your thing, and yeah, of course, don't fucking make it shitty on purpose, like, do your best, but it's like, if once you start getting bogged down, like, just fucking keep on going, man. Just, like, it doesn't matter if the only ideas you got are, like, X, Y, and Z ideas, like, bottom of the barrel ideas is all you got. Choose one and muse it and keep going, you know? And it's just like, that's an advantage on its own, to try to just aim for being prolific and aim for just finishing your projects and making them and keep churning them out. And that's, you're practicing more and more every time you do it, and it's like, you know what I mean? So I kind of value that shit sometimes, because it's like, yeah, the stuff you churn out might not be the best. It might be a bunch of crap, but at least you did it. At least you made it and you finished it, and you have a body of work now. It might not be the most beautiful body of work ever, but whose is? You know, we can't all be Stephen King. We can't all be fucking, I don't know, like, we can't all be, what's the name of that poet? I tried to say her name and I forgot her name. Anyways, we can't all be the best of the best, you know? You know, only the 0.00001% is gonna be the best, you know? Like, we can't all do that, but that's the thing I like about amateur stuff, is that, like, the famous people, you know, they get all the attention, they get their stuff in stores and read in schools and talked about, and they get all the attention. But that's why I like reading just regular, everyday people's stories, because that's the stuff you'll never see, you know? Like, a famous person, you can find their book anywhere because it's famous, you know? But, a regular average person, like, we used to have these compilation books of stories, like, in school, like, those are the stories you never see, you know? You gotta know somebody. Those are the truly rare stories, and they don't follow formula, really, and they don't, I mean, they can, but they don't, like, it's because in obscurity is freedom, you know what I mean? And, you can really just do anything you want, and, you're free to be bad, you know? You don't have the pressure of being great, you know? You don't write for a living, you write on the side next to your fucking janitor job or whatever shit you do that you don't really like, that you only do for money, and then you sit down, write, or do your projects, and then that's, like, that's the rare thing that few people will ever see, but it contains real passion, you know what I mean? And yeah, I value just finishing it, just anything you use. Like, when I was writing the second zombie story, like, I would be there, and then I would stop at a certain point and be like, oh, what should I do now? I wrote myself into a corner, and then I'd be like, fuck that, there's no corners, like, this is an absurdist comedy. You have the most freedom ever. Like, you can literally make a dragon come out of the sky right now and make something happen just to keep the story going and not pause. And that's what stuff I would do. So, anyways, yeah, I don't know. I think sometimes people forget, like, how much freedom they really have in art, because we're trying to be good. You know, we want appreciation, we want recognition, we want people to read and look at our stuff and listen to our music and, you know, just appreciate our art in all its forms. And we want them to say, oh, this is really good, you know, like, wow, that really resonated with me. I like this part and that part, and this part was good, and, like, you know, like, that, it really means something to me, it's deep, like, I see the meaning, you know, I see the value. We want everyone to say that to us, but you can't put that ahead of just creating the art and letting it be an extension of you, which it is, and humans are so complex that art is going to be complex too. And I kind of find, like, that the fascination is in that sometimes, you know, just to read this thing that's like, what is that? And, like, where did it come from? And just questions you can never really ask, you know, you can never really answer. So, yeah. Anyways, that's my reflection. Bye! Merry Christmas! Yeah!